there are certain restaurants or dining experiences I've been to that have either chosen to go with no music or something very ambient, or in some cases, it's literally just someone's playlist. Or they're trying to theme it. So if it's an Italian restaurant, there's Italian music, there's Italian sounding music going on in the background. So where are we missing a trick with this? What aren't people really understanding about the proper or the potential use of audio as a sensory element of really immersing people into a dining experience or elevating that experience in some way?
Yeah, I think there are a few things. I think, perhaps the first thing which you addressed is really the intention. It's thinking about music not simply as a placeholder of something playing in the background, but what is our intention with how it can add to the experience. And that might be as simple as, hey, I'm an Italian restaurant playing Italian music. Again, going back to what we talked about these congruent experiences in the past, that's creating an atmosphere that certainly has something to do with the food. But going even deeper and beginning to think about, if you're, a retail space where your specialty is cupcakes and sweets, playing music that has higher pitches, that has a little faster attack, that may kind of create an environment that sounds sweeter. Or perhaps you're a coffee shop and you have this smell of the roast coffee. Maybe you want to look for music that could be a little slower, a little more legato, a little bit more lower in pitch, that creates this experience that enhances the flavor and the aroma.
So it's really about harmonizing the two together.
Exactly. And so, but within a restaurant or retail environment, we don't just think about the playlist. You have to think about the other sounds as well. You talked about, you mentioned earlier the sound of sizzling onions. Well, part of having an open kitchen or part of bringing a dish and preparing it tableside is this opportunity to have this theater where you can actually hear the sizzling or hear these sounds, which is a very important part of the experience. We found from research that you take all of those sounds out of the atmosphere and the food just doesn't taste quite as good.
Well, I have to say, I'm just thinking, when you say sounds of the restaurant, I immediately think of that kind of, the din of a restaurant room when it's kind of busy and you've got the glasses clanking and the cutlery going and the plateware and just that din of voices around you. There's something that I really enjoy about that kind of atmosphere. And even I can think of at our chef's tables when you have, all the guests around the table and there's just that kind of din. And then there's the silence when the dish is served and there's that moment of just kind of when everyone's enjoying and there's a bit of focus on the food. But there is, I guess, very few places really think about even managing that other than the acoustics of maybe having too much, let's say, echo or whatever it may be. But in the design of restaurants, and the concept and theme, I guess we don't see as many examples of sound being used in that way to curate the atmosphere.
Right. And again, that comes back to intention. And this aspect of noise, if you will, is also an important consideration. The number one complaint about restaurants is usually not the quality of the food. It's usually the noise in the environment. And there is a real impact, not only just on the experience. We've also learned that in really noisy environments, your flavor sense tends to be dulled. And so as a result, you may not be experiencing the flavor that's really there in the food. We also tend to eat more in noisy restaurants. So, there might be some proprietors that immediately think, oh, that's great. I just turn up the volume. People are going to order more and eat more. But the other side of that coin is, but then you make it really noisy and you're not going to enjoy the experience.